For number 6, part A, they ask us to find the measure of angle 2. So if I look at the measure of angle 2 right now, it has an x in it. So they give us that both of these angles are vertical, so that's why I drew this picture, a representation of vertical angles, intersecting lines, and they're across from each other. And we know that vertical angles are congruent by the vertical angles theorem. So since they're the same measurement, we can set up an equation by setting 17x plus 1 equal to 20x minus 14. Once we solve for x, we just have to plug that in and find the measure of angle 2. So to solve this, there's different options. You can collect the variables on either side or the constants first. I'm going to collect the x's on the right side, so inverse operations, subtract 17x from both sides. That leaves me with 1 on the left side, and then 3x minus 14. One more step in order to isolate the, two steps. Add 14 first to both sides. Inverse operations, always move what's not attached to the variable first, so 15 equals 3x. And then one more step in order to isolate, divide by 3. So 15 divided by 3 is 5. Careful, that's not your final answer. Remember, they asked you to find the measure of angle 2. So to find the measure of angle 2, I'm going to do that over here. Measure of angle 2 is equal to 20 times x minus 14. Well, we already know what x is, so it's 20 times 5 minus 14. So that's 100 minus 14, which is 86 degrees. So the measure of angle 2 is equal to 86 degrees. For part B, they give us two different measures of two different angles, and they say that they're supplementary. So to draw a picture, supplementary angles add to 180. So we can create an equation then, and we actually have to find both angles for this question. So our equation then would be 5x plus 9, the first angle, plus 3x plus 11, the second angle, has to be equal to 180. That's by definition of supplementary angles. So to solve this, combine like terms. 5x's plus 3x's is 8x's. And then positive 9 plus 11, that would be 20. So 8x plus 20 is equal to 180. From here, we isolate the x by moving what's not attached first, so subtract 20 from both sides. So on the left side, I have 8x, and on the right side, I have 160. One last step in order to isolate the x, divide by 8, so x is equal to 20. So remember, they didn't ask you just to find x, they asked you to find the measure of both angles. So let's start with measure of angle 1. That was 5x plus 9. So we already know what x is, so I could plug in 20 for x, add 9 to that. So 5 times 20 would be 100. Add 9 to that, that's 109 degrees. So 109 degrees for the measure of angle 1. And if you want to find the measure of angle 2, you could do it two ways. Because these angles have to add to 180, I could just say 180 minus 109 degrees would give me the missing angle, which is 71 degrees. Or you could plug in, back to measure of angle 2, I could plug in 20 for x. So this would be 60 plus 11, which is 71. So the measure of angle 2 is 71 degrees.